Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, let's just dive in and let's start off with talking about a few things. So the big talking subject of this video is essentially going to be talking about and addressing the idea of the XRP price. Does XRP have to be highly valuable? Does XRP have to be trading at that dollar amount, and all that kind of stuff, right? One thing that I noticed, and you could even see it over there on the side where we do see top articles, you can see based on historical trends, analyst predicts timeline for $43 XRP, and we even do see, Ripple IPO buzz grows. Could it reach $600 per share soon and drive XRP's price to $50? Like, a lot of this is all nonsense, to be completely honest with you guys. A lot of it is just, getting you to click this article. That way they can get advertisement monetization from you. It's so simple, right? But outside of that, does XRP have to be extremely valuable? It doesn't, right? A higher priced XRP means a lot more efficient payments and liquidity. Outside of that, though, I do think that XRP will be extremely valuable. Doesn't matter if it has to be or not, I do think that it will be. And the reason for that is because of how incredible XRP is as an asset to payments, transactions. And outside of that, you also have the XRP ledger, right? The XRP ledger use cases, in my opinion, will generate enough utility for XRP to demand XRP to be trading much higher than it is today. But also combined with institutional demand, and you have, the Ripple payments protocol, like all of that combined, in my opinion, generates great demand for XRP. And we always look at the supply. A lot of people look at the supply and say XRP can't go to X amount of dollars because the market cap would be too high. I want you guys to also understand that, we don't really care too much about market cap when we are talking about utility and when we are talking about utility assets as well. Like, market cap's all great to argue over when it comes to, stocks and things like that. But outside of that, we already know that Bitcoin hit well over $1 trillion in market cap. Nobody was complaining about it then. A lot of people were calling for Ethereum to hit, massively high valuations. Again, market cap well over $1 trillion. Nobody cared about market cap then. And even people still talk about Bitcoin going to 200,000 plus, $500,000 plus, $1 million plus, but they, again, don't bring up the market cap argument. So why are we talking about market cap when it comes to XRP? It makes zero sense to me. And remember, right, like, market cap is not a driving factor around XRP. It's not. The driving factor around XRP, from my opinion, is utility. But we haven't seen utility yet. Even if we go all the way back in time to 2017, 2018, we did not see utility on XRP driving the price like this. This was all demand. This was all the retail sector buying up. We've seen a bunch of news. FOMO kicked in. This was all from demand. So let me ask you this, all right? Going into this next major cycle, when you have demand from the retail sector, and it seems as though institutional grade adoption is beginning and already has started, when you combine retail and institutional demand, what do you actually get? And remember, the supply, right? I mean, the total supply is less than 100 billion. We know that the max supply originally was 100 billion, but due to burning and things like that, the total supply is lower than 100 billion. A lot of people think that this is massively high in terms of supply, but again, the supply is needed. I say it all the time, even for HBAR and other tokens, that that supply might seem like a lot to you because we are only comparing it to Bitcoin, right? But outside of that, nobody has witnessed a utility bull run yet. In a utility bull run, things can change drastically, and that supply that we think is so high for XRP or even HBAR, it's not going to matter in my opinion. But outside of this, the reason why I'm bringing this talking subject up is because we know in the past that David Schwartz himself even said, so a higher priced asset is a better vehicle for payments, at least if you're targeting high value payments. We do know that Ripple has mainly stuck to the lower value payments at this point in time. But I do think that they will start to really kind of look at those higher value payments. We know that almost everything around the payment sector is changing due to standardization changing. But this is going to be a welcoming mat for new age technology, which is going to be DLT blockchain. But this got posted by Crypto Eddie. What do you see? Lots of nuggets on Quora talking about XRP. Higher prices tend to correlate with higher liquidity, which means cheaper payments. So a higher priced asset is a better vehicle for payments, at least if you're targeting high value payments. Now, a lot of people think that this was David Schwartz saying, well, XRP needs to be X amount of dollars in order for it to work efficiently. And that's not exactly what he's saying here. He's just saying that, you know, it would be better if the asset was a higher price, which again, is it a little bit of an insight to, you know, the future of XRP? In my opinion, I do think that XRP will be trading significantly higher. And I also think that XRP will soon have a floor built beneath it, because I said it many times in the past, like on-demand liquidity is not going to change the value of XRP the way people think it is, right? Because on-demand liquidity is not a price driver. What on-demand liquidity actually does is it creates a floor for XRP. So let's put this into a way for you guys to understand. So on-demand liquidity transactions, about roughly 3 seconds. The thing is that they're utilizing XRP to transfer the payment, to actually convert one currency to another currency. There's nobody on the other side of that transaction buying or anything like that. It's just a convertible asset at that point. So it's not going to be a price driver, but what it's going to create for XRP is demand. So the price is going to remain stable. And at that time, right, as you have, let's say, I don't know, $1 trillion going over XRP, right? Using XRP as a bridge asset. We could say it's a day, a week, a month, it doesn't really matter. That amount of demand is going to create a great demand for XRP, but also outside of that, you still have the retail sector buying, maybe even holding XRP, maybe using XRP within the XRP ledger. You also have the XRP ledger use cases. So there's demand on both sides. And with that demand, well, you have a higher priced XRP, because on-demand liquidity is actually creating a floor model for XRP from the demand that on-demand liquidity is creating, which is very beneficial for XRP. Outside of this, though, we also know that David Schwartz was talking about this back in even 2018, talking about liquidity tends to correlate with price, and the more liquid XRP is, the more efficient the corridors we can target. A higher price / liquidity also means we can target higher value payments. We choose the best targets of the ones that we think we can hit. A higher price and higher liquidity gives us a broader choice. Currently, high volume payments where the average payment amount is low in inefficient corridors are most of the sweet spot. And that was 2018, right? Now, fast forward to now, have things changed drastically? Not necessarily, right? Because this is like, again, 2018, February 20th. When we go back on the XRP chart now, I know that this is going to look a little bit different compared to like most markets out there. I'm just going off of coin market caps. But if we go back to 2018, and specifically we go back to the February timeframe, you know, XRP was still around like roughly $1 at that time. So like I said, not much has changed since that time to now. But you could kind of see the idea of, you know, XRP remaining a little bit stable. I mean, so far we've only come down to about roughly 30 cents this year during a bear market. A lot of people still think that we can go much lower. I don't technically know if we are going to go below $30 or 30 cents. Nobody really knows if we're going to break down below 30 cents. It's still a possibility, but will it happen? What's the probability of it happening? In my opinion, it's pretty low. We still need to lose significant levels of support. Until then, I do think that XRP has essentially bottomed out during this bear market. But I'd love to see lower price action just so I could buy more. But outside of that, right, we also have this over here as well. So a lot of people think that payments for XRP are not going to really demand a higher price XRP simply because of how low the fees are to utilize XRP. We do see TechCrunch moved $50 million in 30 seconds via XRP for 30 cents. So sending 5 million would be 3 cents. If that's the case, and you can move $500 million for $3 and 1 billion for $6, how high will the price really go? If you need only 1 XRP at 30 cents out of 100 billion to send 50 million. And we do see the thinking is not that XRP will get value because you need it to perform transactions. The thinking, at least mine, is that XRP's value will come from people holding and using it because it transfers or its transfers are cheap, fast, and censorship resistant when you do need to transfer it. If you have value that you need to hold it somehow. If you are not holding it for a terribly long time, what matters the most is how quickly, cheaply, easily, and securely you can transfer it when you find you do need to transfer it. XRP tries to ace that. And again, this is also another great insight to the idea of, holding XRP. Right now, a lot of people still think that a lot of people are invested in XRP. There's not a lot of people invested in XRP. There's 4.7 million wallets out there. How many of those wallets are double wallets from an individual, or maybe even 3 wallets or 4 or 5? You don't know, right? Outside of that, right, that's only 4.7 million. 5% of the world's population is invested in cryptocurrency. Do you think that 5% is invested in XRP? No. Most of that, most of those people that are investing into crypto are probably invested into Bitcoin, Ethereum, the meme coins, Dogecoin, right? The day that we see utility really become a focus point, I think that that's where we will start to see a lot more demand for XRP. Outside of that, right, you also have the possibility of banks holding XRP. And a lot of people think that I'm crazy for saying that, but if you could save a bank, money, if they save money by holding XRP, they will do that. And the reason for that as well is, well, this one. So we do see there was a discussion around, XRP, but mainly the question was, how is XRP going to be held by banks? When you see either the banks hold XRP or they don't. If the banks hold XRP, that adds to demand. If the banks don't, then they rely on market makers who hold XRP. And if XRP becomes a significant settlement currency, companies that want cheap payments will hold it because they'll only have to pay from XRP half. Again, all possible drivers of demand. And again, this is where we start to kind of see the idea of the XRP holders that still are holding XRP at the time where banks demand XRP and they want to, buy it or hold it or use it. Well, guess what? Now we are the ones providing the bank with assets that they want. That's where you become your own bank. And that's where the bank really kind of relies on us as market makers who want to sell them our XRP. That is a possibility at some point in time. Don't know how soon that's going to happen. Probably won't happen anytime soon. But it is still an idea of banks wanting to hold XRP or even use XRP, but not really being able to get XRP because maybe at some point in time, maybe there is a lot of demand for XRP to the point where it's not really available anymore. But again, we're talking probably years and years into the future. But then there's also this great clip talking about central bank digital currencies and central banks holding digital currencies. This was Miguel Villez of Link2, prior head of XRP markets, talking about XRP. This was all the way back in September of 2020. Listen closely to this.
What I would say is I think a digital currency, and I think XRP is the best designed one to do this. An independent digital currency that can't be debased makes a lot of sense to hold in reserve, right? Like that's just, just objectively, right? I mean, you can take kind of the Bitcoin out of it, the XRP out of it, the Ethereum out of it, doesn't matter. Like the fact that no one can mess with this thing the way you can't mess with gold is a good thing for reserves broadly, right? If things are liquid and things are stable. And that was our goal at Ripple, was to get it to be liquid enough so that folks could at least start thinking about it in that way, right? I mean, the space is so young, it's so early that, Patrick Griffin, who was my boss at Ripple and he's since left, and old Rippler, 2012, one of the first 6 or 7 folks, would tell me stories about how Chris would send him to the IMF and send him, to the BIS and send him to these places to talk about digital currencies back in 2013. And, everybody was looking at this kid who was like 28 or 29 at the time, like he had 19 heads. And, that's changed, right? And I think that's an incredible amount of progress in and of itself. I think it's inevitable that eventually we will get to a point where central banks and regular banks hold these things on reserve the same way they hold any asset, right? But here's an asset that is immutable. You can move it around easily, and is non-debasable, right? I mean, you can basically debase almost anything else. You can dig more things out of the ground. You can certainly print more money. You could borrow more money. You could do a lot of these things. You could issue more stock. I mean, you could almost, even commodities to a certain level aren't debasable. So I think it's a really interesting kind of mental construct to think about. And I believe, and I always will believe this, and hopefully I'll see it come true, that in my lifetime, we will see central banks hold digital currencies on reserve. And I have no reason to think that XRP wouldn't be one of those.
And, this is a very, very interesting video because it reminds me of the video of Brad Garlinghouse talking to the director of the IMF. And I'm sure that you guys seen this video. I posted it again over on Twitter, where he's talking to the IMF on, a stage, and he's saying, do you see the IMF holding digital currencies eventually? And, the guy gets a little bit, nervous. Brad Garlinghouse is basically like, well, maybe I should tell you guys what the IMF is going to do. And it really kind of comes back to this video as well, where, we do see the idea of central banks holding digital currencies as reserve assets. And we've even seen David Schwartz recently in Spaces talking about this. This is what I hope to see eventually as well. Like, everyone is, listen, in the speculative market, everyone's going to have their own thoughts. Everyone's going to have their own concerns, their own worries. Everyone's going to get frustrated when the price is not moving. Everyone's going to get upset about the price not moving as well. And, that's just typical human behavior, right? Emotions sometimes get the best of us. But at the end of the day, right, things do take time. And this is something that's, going to be very interesting when it does happen, if it does happen as well, because we are still very early on in this space, right? We're obviously still in a Bitcoin-driven market. We still have meme coins becoming, major parts of this market. At the end of the day, we have never witnessed a utility-driven market. And hey, we could still be years away from a utility-driven market, but we are getting closer every single damn day. And the reason why I know this is because, well, we already have regulations being planned, standards are coming into place. ISO 20022, let it be known that although a lot of people think that's just messaging, it's also a welcome mat for welcoming in new technology. We know banks have now a mandatory reason to upgrade their internal systems. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be an upgrade. All they can do is tap into an API like RippleNet Cloud Payments. And again, they could realize the value of using XRP, for an example. But this is why this space is so exciting, because we're at a time where crypto is still kind of looked at as, oh, it's great to just make money in during the bull run, but outside of that, there's really no use for it, right? And a lot of people still think that. I just recently had a conversation with what I call normie, right? Like, I call them normies because they don't realize the value of crypto yet. But I was talking to him, and he was just like, well, isn't crypto just like down right now? Like, why even look at it? And that's the problem, right? Like, not enough people are actually researching these assets. The same way when you go all the way back in time to like 2014, all the way leading up to 2017, like nobody really cared about, some of these tokens like XRP during this entire time. And I would argue even right now, nobody really cares about XRP at this time. And it really all comes down to, the lack of research. When you have Bitcoin maxis going over to Twitter and they talk about how XRP is this centralized trash coin and it's this, that, whatever. Like, I question where these people get their information from. And I also question the idea of like people putting a lot of trust behind an anonymous individual creating a currency right after the 2008 crisis and aligning it perfectly with liquidity markets and also presidential elections. Do you honestly think that this guy is just an anonymous figure? Do you honestly think that's just one person? Like, I don't think that there's enough thought process going into the idea of even the creation of Bitcoin. A lot of people think that, oh, Bitcoin it was created to divert the idea of, oh, getting away from the government and getting away from this and that. But I don't think a lot of people realize that Bitcoin could very well be a centralized coin. It could be created by government officials. We don't know, right? But outside of that, I also think that too many people overlook the idea of the XRP ledger becoming better every single day through upgrades and more capabilities. Outside of that, we also see, Ripple expanding their corridors, especially with on-demand liquidity. We already know that the on-demand liquidity corridors are reaching well over 90% of the FX market, which is a massive market. In my opinion, with XRP, does the price have to be high? No, it doesn't. Because it could work great at $1, $2, $3, $4. But do I think the price of XRP is going to be significantly higher in the future? Yes, 100%. But we don't know when that's going to be the case, right? But I do believe in a $10 XRP, a $100 XRP, and hell, I even talked about even higher prices as well. And I do believe that those prices will happen. Will they happen in my lifetime? I do hope so as well. Outside of that, things are getting very interesting around the space, and I'm definitely going to continue to report on that and look over everything and do as much research as I possibly can. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Peace out.